Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Rebel advocates in the building. What's happening, guys? Everybody all right? Yeah? Back again, Sunday. Hope you had a nice weekend and everything. We got a few good things on today. But first, who's here with me? Is anyone with me?
Yeah. What are you saying, guys?
Who's that? Artie?
Yeah, up in here, man. How you guys doing? All right?
Yeah, all good, all good, all good, all good. You all right? Yeah, you had a nice weekend. Enjoying the weekend till tomorrow as well.
Yeah, decent weekend, innit? Bank holiday one, last one now, innit, guys, before Christmas. So, yeah. I mean, extra day off work and all that jazz. So, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Weather's turning a bit, but no, still good.
All right, all right. Who else did that? Johnny, you did that?
Yeah, man. Oh, go on, you good?
You all right? Yeah.
There, breathing, you know.
Is your sound all check, kid? Your sound's a bit, yeah. Your sound's
weird.
all right. Yeah, just a little tiny bit.
What about now?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
Could have been better. It's been all right.
All right. Let's just jump into it, right? Let's just Artie, you wanna recap that recap? You wanna go over the last thing of the angel of death?
Yeah.
Of the angel of death, so just run with that, yeah?
Yeah, she got her yeah, man, she got her sentencing finally. She didn't actually appear, or she chose not to appear in court for her sentencing, sadly. But yeah, she got a whole life imprisonment. She was found guilty of the 6 murders and 7 attempted murders as well. So, yeah, she'll be spending the rest of her life in prison. No chance of her ever coming out, you know what I mean? There was a little conjecture, wasn't there, last week about was she going to get charged with everything? But, yeah, she's got the whole 6 murders and the 7 attempted ones. So, yeah, she's gone.
Would we say it's a fair result?
Yeah, 100% fair, isn't it? Yeah, I think it seemed clear and evident. And like we spoke last week, it took far too long, sadly, for the whole situation to materialise. But yeah, fair and just that she'll spend the rest of her life behind bars. Yeah, and that's it really. Yeah. So, but yeah, the fact that she didn't want to come for the sentencing was just really shows what sort of person she may well be. But yeah, that's it, done and dusted for her now.
On that sentencing thing, yeah. A lot of people are saying that, innit? And they're trying to bring some law into that so people can show up to their to their telling off, because that's what it is really. It's a little last telling off. It doesn't. You're gonna get the time regardless, innit? But the judge like to jump in and turn around and say things like, "Well, yeah," put their little pieces in it, Johnny. They like to come and say their little rubbish, and it's like make an example regardless of who you are. Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear that. I don't see the difference if you're there or not, innit? They're saying, like, the victims, as she's saying, they want to look at the people them in their eyes, and then they want to see them and stuff. But I don't really see the difference. You're gonna get your years or whatever you're gonna get either way, innit? So
that's what I'm saying.
Well, exactly, innit? Yeah, it doesn't matter really. I think it just, if she didn't want to come, so be it. And yeah, it is a little bit like your last telling off, isn't it? And I mean, everybody generally felt that was going to happen. That was the outcome, and thankfully that was it. So whether she came or not, for me, it doesn't matter. And for any other prisoner, it doesn't really matter. I suppose, like Johnny said, some of the victims' families want to look at them in the eye, or maybe potentially try to do a little bit more or something. So that's possibly why. But no, for me, it doesn't matter. And yeah, so they say good riddance to bad rubbish, eh?
What about, let's just say something happened. Would you want to see the person when you want to sentence them, or would you want, or would it matter if that person turns up or not?
I think it doesn't matter to me personally. I think there's that little bit in yourself, in me. Maybe you want to see them and look at them, but like you guys said, it doesn't really matter, does it? Whatever crime has been done, if it's that bad, that heinous, can't bring the children back. So I just say, crack on with her. She don't want to come. She don't want to come. And just pass the judgment down. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you think it's. No, sorry, John. Go on, mate.
Go on. Sorry, go on.
No, I think sometimes it's a little bit of a theatre thing, you know what I mean, with this sort of, like sort of teacher just said, the last little word has to be the judge, and you've messed up now, and your time is done, and you're not coming back, sort of stuff, you know what I mean?
Do you two agree with the life with no parole though? Because I swear we're supposed to be rehabilitation like country and all that, and we're looking to help them. Do you believe like she should get the book thrown at her and never see like light of day again?
Yeah, 100%. For what she done, yeah, I think I do agree that, you know, that it's good to sort of rehabilitate and try to bring some people back after their crimes into a normal life, which is fair enough. But I think for some crimes, Johnny, sadly, mate, I think that's a wrap, you know what I mean? Everything depends on its merit, I think, you know what I mean, in crimes. They should be judged on that. But her merit is, sadly, she's killed 6 babies and tried to kill another 7. So I think that's the wrap for her, you know what I mean? But yeah, I agree in terms of you have to try to rehabilitate some people and have what's the word I'm looking for? Like some light at the end of the tunnel, you know what I mean? But for someone like that, I just think it should be darkness, my man.
But let me put it the next way. Her spending the rest of her life in prison, what is that really achieving though? Yeah, she's going to die behind bars, but I don't see how that's helping anybody.
I suppose what people would argue is that she's gone out of her way to take 6 lives, isn't it? She took 6 lives away from those people, and they'll look at it that she should have to, whatever, what's the term I'm looking for? Sort of pay the penalty for that, you know what I mean? And I'm all for people coming back into society and sort of rehabilitating, and I'm sure we're going to touch on that later. But yeah. But except for her, because I think the crime is of such a nature, you know what I mean? That
I don't agree, okay? I don't agree with you because obviously the woman's sick, okay? Something's wrong with the woman. So let's try and solve her problem, yeah? And who's to say in 10 years, 15 years, she doesn't solve her problem? And why does she have to sit down behind the door? I understand. I'm not into, I mean, look, if you can rehabilitate them, I'm all for that, you understand? Because some people take 10, 20 years, some... you know, it could be as soon as the judge decide to give you the time, you're just you're rehabilitated straight away. You just realize what bullshit you done. You don't need to go behind the door. It depends on the different person, but there is a rehabilitation and it should be done. That's how I think for your answer, Johnny, for my answer.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I brought it up. Because remember, I said to you the other day, teacher, I said to you, boy, I understand why they passed down that thing to her, but I don't believe it should have been life with no parole. I reckon if she could be behind the door and prove herself, and rehabilitate, then she should have been able to see. Like, obviously, she would have to do a few years, like a lot of years. But to say you're never gonna road again, and you can clearly from the crimes that she's done, you can clearly see she's not well in her head, innit? So maybe we should try and help her rather than the sentence her to life with no parole, because that's not going to do her mental state any good. I don't know if you're thinking, she may be thinking, like, maybe if she would have had a little glimpse of life on the outside again, it would have helped her with her mental health. But to hear that you're never going to see like daylight again, you can appeal and all that shit, but To me, I don't think prison helps. It may help something at the time. Like with me, when I went away, I needed that little break, to help fix what was wrong with me, innit? But to say that someone like it's not obviously, yeah, she did bad, but at the end of the day, help the woman, innit? Like, but she got what she got in it. But I just don't agree with the no parole thing. But fuck it, she got it.
Is it? Could it be a thing where if you've been there, you understand what it is, and if you haven't, maybe you won't, because
Maybe.
we got Becky Lou here. Big up Becky Lou, back in the building.
Big up.
And a few things there. She said she would want to see the person for a little bit of closure, and then the last bit. I don't know what that's gonna close, but if you'd like to enlighten us, I don't know what that would close. And she says you can't rehabilitate somebody like that, And she wasn't remorseful, yeah, and guaranteed the babies didn't have a life, and she done all that bad stuff, but yeah. Some people are reachable to rehabilitate, and some can't. Who determines that though? You understand? Who determines who's reachable, and doesn't time determine that, and what you do after the time? Because guaranteed today and yesterday she wasn't remorseful, and she didn't, But who's to say 10 joints down the line she is? Or is, yeah? What do you say, guys?
Yeah, I agree with that. But maybe it's where you did say it's where you're coming from, I'm coming from, and where Archie's coming from are difference in opinion. Because to me, that place there is just, it's not a nice place anyway. But you can make the best out of a bad situation. You get it, but to know that you could never touch road again, it's just, it's a mad thing still. But I feel to me, there's a chance for everyone to get rehabilitated. No matter what the crime is, I believe there is a chance to try and fix you in it. But boy, obviously she didn't get that chance. But maybe she can appeal it in it and something like that, because I haven't got no connection with the woman. I don't know her or anything, but I just feel sad. Just like her next life's just gonna get wasted. Like it's sad still, but it is what it is, man.
I think Becky Lou says, look at the James Bolger killers. I think she was trying to say the James Bolger killers, but they're out, aren't they? Right?
Yeah,
they've
out. Been out and doing nonsense ever since then, really.
They're out, and to be honest, nobody would even recognize who they were now. Yeah, you pass them on the street, right? You'll pass them on the street, and you wouldn't even notice them or recognize them. So, did it work for them? Who knows if it works for them? But
I think one went back though, didn't he?
What
he went back? He had some child pornography charges put against him.
Some nastiness.
Well, that's what did they do with it? They just tortured the guy though, didn't they? First, yeah, they killed the little boy, didn't they?
Yeah.
And threw him on the train track.
Yeah, they were telling it.
And that weren't no child pornography stuff, was it then? So what? They just he's graduated. He graduated.
Yeah, into some next madness and alcohol and drug abuse and a lot of madness. He changed his identity, I think, in it. One of them, the two of them, in it. So I think one changed his identity, and yeah, it's all been a bit mad after.
Yeah, obviously because they were minors at the time when they.
Yeah, they were 10, innit?
Yeah, so they couldn't have. So they got what they got, the whatever 10 years, 11 years, or whatever they got, and they served it. But it's like one of them he just went a next way and just started doing their nastiness in it. So don't know, man.
It's a mad one, isn't it? Those guys.
Anyway, yeah, and we can go on all about that one.
Oh yes.
Let's just move on. Let's go into we're gonna go into your one first, Johnny. Seeing as we're gonna end, gonna go into your one about this. There was a documentary on what is it, on Thursday, on one of them four channels there. It was about this the London Bridge attack. I don't know if anybody saw it out there, the London Bridge attack, and just go for it, Johnny. Run it on that.
Basically, back in 2019, I know most people, not everyone, remember the London Bridge terror attack, where one Muslim geezer that got released from prison 11 months before the attack. They've obviously gone to some conference thing or something to help prisoners and determine, like, try and change certain things that are going on in the prison system. And there was a Muslim lad that obviously killed 2 people, said he had a bomb on tied to him and was going to let off the bomb and all that stuff. And it was a bit mad still, because I remember the time I was somewhere at the time, innit? And that whole scenario nearly affected something that I wanted to do, you know? So it's like, I remember that day like it was yesterday, isn't it? So it's a bit crazy still. But that's the next rehabilitation thing, because the guy that did it, obviously, he was in there for, I think it was terrorist charges as well. So obviously they felt he was rehabilitated. They let him out. Obviously, they had some conference thing, and then obviously he did what he did, innit? So it's like, who said it was time for him to be and let out and do certain things? Someone obviously deemed that he was right in his head to come out, but now they're showing certain things where he wasn't right in his head before, and there were certain things where they should have looked out for certain things. But it's crazy still, because that did put like, people did start, or even before that, but the Muslim community did get a bad name when that did happen, or even more than what they had in the first place because of what happened there. So yeah, it's a bit crazy, that whole scenario. And I'm surprised it took so long for this documentary thing to come up, because that's what, 4 years ago? Yeah. 4 years ago, I reckon. It's a bit mad that it took so long to come out still, but yeah, man.
Yeah, listen.
And obviously,
no, go on.
Obviously, I'm not going to say the person's name, but I did come across one of the people in the documentary in one of the places where I was in it, and obviously, yeah, he was a different type of chap in it. I didn't really hold conversation with him, but yeah, it's a bit different still. But go on.
Listen, that was a different one, because this is about terrorism, innit? That was about terrorism, and rehabilitating them guys, terrorist guys, is not the same as just sending them behind the door and making them lose. Do you know what I mean? Because remember, enough of them were even radicalized behind the door, innit? And I think they need a little bit more help than than the typical, do a couple of sessions, do some counseling. Clearly with this guy, it didn't really work, innit? Because he was under some guys there, wasn't he? And coming to deal with this, he had a plan to do that thing, and he came off the street, didn't he? He was on he was on his release thing. He came off the street and just went out there with his plan. He had a straight plan, and he was looking for the boy them, innit?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think that's the same as me and you, for example. It wouldn't be. I don't think that person needs a little bit more help to radicalize these. Somebody who's radicalized, they need to be de-radicalized. Do you understand? And how to do that is another story. I don't think the prisoner even think they're not even got them levels there yet. I don't think so. Go on. What do you think?
Maybe you need to send.
Sorry.
Maybe you need to send them people in a one army or something and try and de-radicalize, because it's like you said. I don't think prison's the place for them people there, because their crimes are different type of thing, in it. But
yeah, they need some different type of help. What do you think, Artie?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, because I watched it myself, and obviously they had kind of released him too early, so they'd obviously prejudged, and like you guys obviously have a lot better knowledge than I do, they've probably not put the work in that they should be putting in on him, or maybe, like you said, they can't put the work in, and therefore they released the guy too early. And obviously you saw kind of what happened and what unfolded after that sort of thing. But yeah, in terms of the rehabilitation, I think everybody, maybe not like earlier on, maybe not everybody, that's only my opinion, can be rehabilitated. But a lot of people definitely can. But obviously with this guy, they made a bad judgment in it, and I think people should be brought to, brought to face the music over that. Because whatever, two people lost their life over their bad judgment, isn't it? So,
sorry, did I miss something? Did you say not? You don't. You said people can't be rehabilitated. Is that what you said?
I said some people can't be. Some people, I believe, can't be. I think they're just.
So what you're saying? That woman, the angel of death, is one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, she can't
and
be.
Who else do you think? The Bulger kids?
Maybe, yeah, people like that.
And what do you
kind
think?
Of serial.
The terrorist guy there?
Maybe. I don't know about. I mean, because with this guy, like you said, I think he needs a lot of work with him. You know what I mean? He needs work in it, and he's, and with that situation, there is a possibility. But like you said, the sort of prison and penal system, they either they have or they don't want to put the work in, or they just don't have it, like you said, to deal with someone with that set of specific needs. You know what I mean? Because like I said, his crimes that he's doing is different, and he's been radicalized for a certain period of time. You know what I mean? And he only sees that way.
But the thing about it, Artie, let me show you. You said about the help and all that, yeah. But I'll tell you one thing, because I've come from that life. It's easy to twang the system in it. So it's easy for you to sit down in all these courses and be like, yeah, I'm sorry for what I done.
Of course, of course.
So it's but I'm saying, because I've been through it. I've been through it and I've seen it. So it's like, who at the end of the day, how are they supposed to be like, oh yeah, he's been he's a new man now, like he's learned his lesson. We reckon he's free. Get me? Because it's easy to twang these people, man. From you just read from the same hymn sheet and be like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I know what I did was wrong. I know this, and they just be like, oh yeah, get me? So, and then you got some stubborn people like. Well, I remember one guy that me and teacher met. There was one stubborn person. He just wasn't admitting to none of his. Like, remember, teacher? This guy was just like, well, it was either me or them, innit? Like, I'm not telling them what they want to hear, innit? So, you get me? So, it's a bit crazy still, but like I said, it's easy to twang the people, them. So, they obviously, it's hard for them as well, because they're going to have to come up with their own judgment and be like, all right, cool, we're going to allow him to hit the road again. And obviously this is what happened with this guy that committed that act of terror, innit? He was he was out for 11 months and then he's gone and done that. So obviously he twanged his way through, he got his way through the system and all that, and then he went and done that. So get me? Like, they thought rehabilitation worked for him. So who said who says it can't work for that woman that done that thing to them youths? You get me? Because if they think it worked for this guy and it didn't, maybe it could. But don't know.
But also, prisons are a revolving door as well, John. Innit? They need people in and they need people out because it's big business and big money, innit? So it benefits them as a way just to say, look, mate, you can come out now. We think he's all right. It is what it is. We just put man out. They don't do. Obviously, you guys know the system, but I feel they ain't really doing any background work. They ain't really doing it too tough to help you man out. You know what I mean? And to sort you guys out. And sort of put you on the road. And so it doesn't feel like it's just like they'll just get you out the door quick time and the next man's already coming in.
Because the way I look at it as well, it's like both of those acts, the first one we were talking about and this one, they're both severe because because in both of them, you've taken people's lives or in his case, he was looking to take people's lives. He got caught. Yeah. He got caught before, and then he's come out, and then he's taken people's lives. So to me, you can't. If you're gonna help rehabilitate one and let them out, you're gonna have to try it with. Everyone's gonna have to have a chance. To me, everyone's gonna have to have a chance in it. But you know,
I just think you've got to judge cases on their merits, isn't it? So if you're a child killer, if you get into something and you get into a noise and you end up killing someone accidentally, yeah. I think, yeah, you can be rehabilitated, you can be worked with. But if you're doing them heinous crimes, that's a recipe for disaster, surely. If you go and kill 6 babies and then you turn around and say 15, 20 million down the line, that's like, you can come out now. Like, other people who, you know what I mean? That's just, for me, I don't see that as working because if that's my youth and you done that to my youth, well, if it's 15, 20, 25 years down the line and you're coming out, I don't see that as acceptable. From that personal standpoint, with other crimes, I think you can be rehabilitated, you know what I mean, and certain things. But when it's murder and that, sticky business, guys.
So you don't think murderers can be rehabilitated?
Yeah, but it's easy to be remorseful after it's done, isn't it? Like you said, didn't it? Like Tich said earlier on, as soon as it's done, you know what I mean, I'm rehabilitated. You know what I mean? I didn't mean to do it now. You know what I mean?
I believe you. I mean, look, this is the thing. I think, yeah, it's whether you've been behind the door or you haven't been behind the door. And I think the way Artie's talking is the talk from most people that haven't been behind the door. You understand? And I can get what you're saying, Johnny, because you know we've been behind the door, so we know how much time it kills and how much wasted time it goes. And who's to say when you rehabilitated, do you understand? Like I said before, you could, soon as you get your sentence, yeah, that could be your time for you to wake up, and then you don't even need to do no time. But it varies for each different things. We're talking about simple things here, minor little things, not minor, but you know, major enough for you to go behind the door. But you know, ain't no murder thing, not no murder.
No,
thing.
No, totally different, exactly.
But then, who's, you know, when you're talking about murder, you know, there's different types of murder.
100%
ways of murder. Like do you remember when, I don't want to say no names, remember you used to live down the road from your house when you used to live down there, down the strip, yeah? And remember that you remember the naughty boys, that person, yeah? And you remember the cousin, yeah? And the so look, their cousin, the old man, he went behind the door for drunk driving and killed somebody. So what? He's not remorseful? I think he was remorseful when soon as he turned sober. Do you know what I mean? Guaranteed he deserved his time because you don't be drinking and driving. You understand? But he was straight up remorseful after that. And so what? Then he's, you know, it's a strange, it's a long subject. It's a long debate.
Yeah, it's deep, man.
This thing. It's not easy debate, but
no,
I think once, because look, if you look at when the COVID thing came around, people were you know, quote unquote stuck in their house, yeah, and but then, and they were pissing and moaning, but they had everything. They could order food, they could order clothes, they got all the Xbox, movies,
Yeah.
whatever you could have, but they were just pissed at sitting in their house. So imagine if you was behind the door, because behind the door is much more deeper than locking in your yard with all
Of
your
course.
gadgets at your fingertips and all that. So I don't know. Marinade on that. What are you saying, guys? What are you saying?
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, man.
I hear that, man. It's like what you said, man. It's either you've been there or you haven't, innit? And it's like people just think, because look, I heard them even saying something about, sorry to go back to the Angel of Death woman again, sorry, about they should take away certain privileges, like what, like in what, like, come on, man, she's being punished, innit? Like, what are you gonna do? Make her not have no TV or radio? Like, it's mad. Like people just think behind the doors easy because you get a little one Xbox or PlayStation and you get your little canteen and all them things. Nah, man, it's deeper than that, isn't it? But whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, with all due respect, sort of, what's the bigger punishment? You being behind the door, or someone losing their baby?
I
There's
hear
no
that.
comparison. There's no comparison.
I hear that, but at the end of the day, she's behind the door. She's gonna be dying behind the door. So taking away her privileges, what's that gonna solve?
I'm not saying take away her privileges, but the point for her is that it has to be life. There's no, you can't take away 6 little babies and then say, all right, I'm going to do a little moon, and then tutus you're coming out 15 years later, mate. That's bizarre.
It ain't gonna be 15 years,
even
innit?
20, even 25. It's bizarre because them parents are still going to be alive, John. The parents are still going to be alive.
You know they're still well, hopefully, innit? But obviously, after when time goes on now, obviously they should be able to feel a little remorse and a little forgiveness as time goes on, innit?
I don't know, man. Each to their own. I personally couldn't. If you took my youth from me, there's no remorse. There's nothing, mate. That's just a personal standpoint from a parent, Johnny. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of parents that would feel the same way, mate. There's no remorse, innit? Yeah, I mean, she didn't show no remorse, did she?
I don't know. I didn't see the woman. I don't know.
Yeah, but she didn't even come to court for a sentencing.
But that doesn't mean she had no remorse. Because you don't go to court. If I had the choice not to go to court, I wouldn't. But they basically forced me to go to court. If I had the chance of not going to court, their determined, like their whole thing is she didn't show no remorse because she didn't show up to court.
Yeah.
But we we all three of us just discussed what is showing up to court.
No. I'm saying it's nothing, but her not showing up to court is basically giving the finger and saying, I ain't going, mate.
Yeah, but how's that not? Yeah, but that's just her basically she don't want to go to court. She don't want to go. That's the next thing as well. When you're behind the door, you notice, obviously, you're going to say, oh, you've done a crime, you're behind the door. But waking up those early mornings at 5 in the morning, have to get ready. You got to wait in the holding place. You got to go on that hot, sweaty bus. Wait under the courts, under the cells, under the court. You're gonna go up. You're gonna get sentenced. Go all the way back to court. Go back to the prison. You're gonna miss your food you had at the prison. To me, like I said, it's not a big deal if you go or not. Innit? What is looking at the woman? What they planning to go in and shoot up the court and shoot up the woman? What exactly is it gonna? Is it gonna like? How's it going to help you seeing the woman?
But that's from their perspective. They've lost the child, Johnny, mate. That's something that probably me or you will never ever go through in our life. So with all due respect, you know what I mean? I don't blame them for wanting to see it. We already said it doesn't matter one way or the other, innit? She's gone down. But from the families of the 6 kids she murdered, like who was a lady who commented, Becky Lou, innit? They wanted to live some closure. What closure? I don't know, because if either of us three were in that situation, is that giving you closure? Maybe even not, you know what I mean? But for those people, it might be. But the whole thing of going to court or not, it doesn't really matter. But from her perspective, it was just another one where she didn't come, and it probably just pissed them off a bit more. You know what I mean? One last little thing.
Maybe it is the case. Like I said, it's never happened to me before, and hopefully, touch wood, it never does happen to me. But to me, I just believe everyone should have a chance to rehabilitate. And maybe it's true what you're saying. Maybe because it's never happened to me, maybe I'm feeling this way. But where I've been behind the door and I've come across, met certain people and stuff, and certain people, I'm thinking, you know what? I reckon prison has helped you in a way, innit? But like I said, because it's never happened to me, maybe I'm looking at it at an angle, and because I've been behind the door, innit? Rather than if you haven't been behind the door and it hasn't happened to you, you get me? You could have different aspects of it. But to me, I just feel she should have had a chance to rehabilitate and do a 30 years or a 40, you get me? Or give her 35, 40 years and say, you're going to have to serve that, like, minimum 40 years. You're going to have to do minimum 40 behind the door. And you're going to have to jump through X, Y, and Z and show us, that you get me, that you're doing certain things. Because look, like I said, they gave the man that did the London Bridge thing, he had his chance, and
that's it, isn't it? He had it, and obviously he worked well then, innit?
He didn't do what she did, but he still committed heinous crimes. You get it?
No, he killed two people, innit? The same way, but he killed two people, John, innit? It's inexcusable.
He was looking to kill more, but obviously
the man tackle him up, innit?
But to me, if you're not going to give her a chance of rehabilitation, then they have to look at the system and certain criteria, certain crimes you commit. All right,
that's what I mean. Crimes on their merits, John, innit? Crimes on their merits. I think you can't. I'm not saying blanket. You can't. So everyone, like I said earlier, not everyone that's killed someone, I say, they can't be rehabilitated. I think a bag of people can't be, dozens, thousands. You know what I mean? But I think for sure some people can't be. Some people can't be. They're too far tapped up. You know what I mean?
Well, look, let's just move on that one, because end of the day, none of us knows them levels there. They're different levels. None of us are qualified enough to talk about whether that person can be rehabilitated or not. From they got the chance, I think that's what Johnny's saying. I think if they're there and they potentially show a chance that they want to and they can change, then why not let them have that chance? Do you know what I'm saying? After however long and whatever, do you know? But on the other side, right? If it was my kids, I'll be pissed. But I know that me being pissed ain't gonna solve nothing, is it? Because you see some of these things in America more so when something happens, a killer kills somebody, some child or something, and they get the parents coming up, and the parents come up and says, you know what, I forgive you. You understand? I forgive you. And you see that a lot, yeah? So, that must, I think that will eat you up personally if you hold what you're saying, Artie, that thing, the thing that you're saying is stand firm on this thing. Well, you killed my kids and I want to see the worst for you ever. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that necessarily, on the first initial feeling, definitely you'd feel like that, and I will. We all got kids, you understand? All of us got kids, so, and we won't want to see none of our kids, brown bread or whatever, you understand? But who's to say that won't eat you up, that will fuck your life up if you're still holding that fire for something else? Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
Good talk, anyway, good talk.
What does Becky Lou say? We got Becky Lou again. Big up, Becky Lou.
Big up, big up.
They won't ever get closure. But once that punishment has been passed, the parents can then grieve for their babies. That's what Becky Lou said. Yeah, fair's fair, innit?
Good shout.
Yeah, nice one. Shall we, let's have a look at the next one. What was the next one?
Where do you want to go?
We're gonna leave that. Shall we go to the carnival one? Because I'm gonna talk about child abuse.
Yeah. Oh,
Or
right.
shall we go into the child abuse and be hearty and have a nice carnival talk? Child trafficking. That's what I was talking about. Child trafficking.
Go on with that one. Go on with that one.
All right, all right. What was I watching? I was watching a program today. What was it called? It was called QE. I don't know if
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it. It's on one of them little things you can go and watch. You can go and watch. You know, that thing. I don't want to say the name. The red thing. The red thing you can go and watch movies on and all that stuff. It's called.
Yeah.
The movie's called Cutie, right? And it wasn't recommended. It was one of them type movie. It was one of the movies that they said, look, this is a problem. This is a problem. This is why shit happens. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, it wasn't all that. But after watching it, you think about it and you look at it. It was all these like 8 to 11-year-olds, dressing up in this in these crazy clothes that they should not be wearing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Putting all the makeup on, and I mean, you
dear.
see it out there, don't you? Sometimes you see it.
Like the pageants and stuff.
It wasn't no pageant thing. It was just
No?
like 8 to 11-year-olds, 8 to 10-year-olds. Just they were left to their own devices. You understand?
Okay.
And they just wore certain clothes. You understand? And the clothes was not on. You understand? It was a bit uncomfortable watching it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But it was a good show. I thought it was quite good, and to show what you need to be looking for. You understand? And the relation to that, it was one of this Adam movie got me into that one. It was this Mel Gibson one. Have you heard of this Mel Gibson one? What was it called? Freedom of something.
No, I haven't.
Freedom
Sadly,
of
no.
something. Jesus Christ. I had it all here a second ago, but anyway, what was it called? It was this. Sorry.
No, cool.
It was called Sound of Freedom. That's what it is. It's called Sound of Freedom, and it came out this year in June, July this year. And it's I ain't seen it yet, but I've read a lot about it. I was gonna watch it tonight. Do you know what I mean? But it's about this trafficking. It's about a girl from South America got trafficked, and all for this these people in this place, rich people, this it jumps in a little bit conspiracy style stuff, but it was really horrible. It was really horrible, but it was actually based off a true story, and I had some thingies on here. It's like it was really mad that the kids that get trafficked, they're sold at least 10 to 15, 20 times. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of money in this business. You can buy drugs and all that stuff and just shot it once, but with this thing, it goes on and on and on and on and on, and the damages goes worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. But this movie, he's been criticized. I never heard about it until today. This movie, and he's been criticized for trying to make this movie. Who else? They got some few names that was implicated into it. Child trafficking is a serious thing. It's a serious thing, guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, it is bad, isn't it? But yeah, I was just gazing upon it earlier. I haven't seen the film itself, but I'd heard a little bit about. You hear sort of little whispers of the controversy about it, innit? But yeah, I mean, it does delve into a bit of conspiracy. But I think with this, I think it's more of a real conspiracy because, like you said, it seems to happen, innit? From sort of all sort of walks of sort of all countries, all continents almost to a point, you know what I mean? And it's like some of these children are sort of made to order, like I said, it's sad as well, but yeah, it is happening a lot. I'll have to look out for the film.
There was.
Where did you see it on, if you don't mind me asking? What one?
Where did I see what?
That film on?
What film one? The first one I was talking about, Cuties, or the other one?
No, the Mel Gibson.
From your, you get it from your source. You get it from
Oh,
your local source, didn't you?
Yeah.
Get it from your local source, didn't you?
But
Whoever's
sadly, you
sourcing
took
it.
some criticism from this.
Hey, but you know what? There's a lot of talk about it online, so you can just Google that, and then you'll see a lot of you see a lot of that stuff on there, But yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. It was really, really nuts. I don't know when I'm just looking for the stats of the Home Office because it was a worldwide thing, and there's like a shitload of people amount of the victims. There's just too many, my friend. There's too many.
And they all seem to
you
be
know
brought.
And I don't know about this one is for Johnny more so. Even when we was behind the door, there was like more people in there for trafficking people in there. And I've never seen so many, and that was the most I've seen out there. Innit? Would you in it, Johnny?
Yeah, it was true. Like you said, I never before I went to that place, I never met no one that was into that. And as soon as you went there, like you said, you get talking to a few people. These people look simple, these people, and they're like, and obviously you talk about your crime and all that, and they're like, yeah, I'm in for that. And I'm looking at them like, raw, like, what? You're into them today. So, yeah, it's a bit mad still. It's a bit crazy. But it's like you said, teacher, it's a multi-million-pound business, man. Which is sad.
When you're looking at their movies, like what was that film? Hostel. Remember Hostel?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And that showed you a part of it, the order stuff, innit? The order and stuff, part of that stuff, innit? That was a bit nuts.
Yeah, well, I was reading earlier when they said there's about 1,500 child sex traffickers alone, and that's only what they know of in America.
Well, I got some Home Office data published final quarter of 2019. And it was categorizing the criminal exploitation. It was the most prevalent was exploitation type was 49%, 2,689 potential child victims identified across all exploitation types. 79% children identified as potential victims were boys.
Yeah, like you said, it's deep, man.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And it's everywhere, isn't it? Like you said, it's from all corners of the globe, isn't it? And it's like they're made to order, sadly, you know what I mean? And it seems like obviously you guys have the prior experience as well, and you've seen it. It's like it's happening more and more frequently now, and I bet you're going to see more and more people sort of go behind the door who are committing these offences. But who they're committing these offences for, you know what I mean?
It said the second most referred nationality for children was Vietnamese, followed by Albanians.
I could believe that, man.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Do you know what I mean?
Innit? And I think some of them they like sell them a lie, don't they, and sort of bring them over on false pretenses. I don't know, sort of kids as well, innit? Sort of rehousing them and stuff, and then obviously with the adults they'll promise them jobs and stuff. You know what I mean? When they're coming over.
Did you say they sell them alive? Did you say?
No, a lie.
A
lie. You know what I mean? When they're bringing people or children over from wherever they're coming from, you know what I mean? Sometimes they might just be blatant with them, but other times they're more telling them, yeah, and come over here, get them in the house, or kids, they might bring them into a school, you know what I mean? And then when they get them over here, they sort of traffic them, you know what I mean, to sort of wherever else they need to go.
Yeah. It says, what does it say? In 2022, 7,019 children were identified as trafficked to England and Wales.
Bloody hell. It's a lot, mate.
Yeah.
And that's just 1 year.
Mm-hmm. It's nuts. It's a horrible business. It's a horrible business, and it's just going up and up. That's the thing. It's going up and up. It's not. It's getting worse.
Yeah, you're not seeing a decrease in the figures.
No, it's going up. So, like how we saw them guys there behind the door where jump it was going up and up. There was more and more of them. It's a easy. It's like a, you don't have to make it, do you? It's not like drugs. You need to make that drugs, or you have to have some skill to cook the food or something. Boil up the thing or whatever. You just have to just go and grab some people in it. That's what they're basically saying. Not just, but you see it. You always see it. Remember on the old Facebook as well. You used to see a lot of these this person missing, that one's missing. And you're
Always,
like, you're like, nah, man, it can't be so many people disappearing like that, no? Yeah, it is.
It is like that, sadly. Seems that way, isn't it?
That's what you just said as well, teacher. It's like a thing now. You're not in the forefront either. Like you say, you just grab up a few people, or it's like a pyramid thing. Like you chat to some people and pay them, be like, yo, you get some people, and then you tell them to get some people, and then when you're at the top, it's like it's harder for you to get caught for what you're doing in that thing. You get it, because you're not doing it firsthand, innit? You get me? All you're doing is giving out orders, and it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's like I said, there's no work. They don't have to put the work in for it, so they can just give them a little change and then just tell them to go about their business, innit, sadly.
Crazy, man.
But hopefully in time it's going to decrease. But like you said, the signs are really horrible nowadays. It's just picking up though, isn't it?
It's only going to get worse.
And there's some horrible people out here, mate.
100%.
Horrible, mate. Horrible.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's just getting worse. But I mean, even though sex is what is it, boys or girls? Girls are obviously more for not obviously, but used for sex more so. Boys are used for it's all that exploitation stuff, like the Lions County things as well, innit? They use them a lot for that. That was high in proportion for criminal some kind of criminal stuff, because they're out of the loop, innit? Or they'll get a slap on the wrist or something, innit? One day for being so young. There was somebody posted it up. I think somebody posted something up just now on the old face about somebody, two young guys missing and potentially used for the Lion thing.
Theory, mate. Yeah, it's a shame. Remember, we done a one sort of a while ago, innit, on sort of missing people and stuff, and the numbers are staggering, innit? What is it, like 170,000 kids a year are all going missing and stuff, you know what I mean? So, and not all of them, you know what I mean? And then there's just no accountability for all of those numbers. So it's like, if you looked into that a little bit deeper, then I'm sure, sadly, sort of a lot of the youngsters have got involved in, you know what I mean, in that industry one way or another through sort of coercive behaviour, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, sadly.
And yeah, it's just nuts, crazy stuff, crazy stuff, horrible stuff. So no, if anyone out there, have a look at that cuties. So how keep your eye on your 8 to 10-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Keep it. If you see any signs of that, the cutie thing, one, you know what to do. Also, have a look at that other movie, because they don't want nobody to watch that one. So try and have a look at that movie to see what the crazy fuckers are doing out there.
Exactly.
Because I remember there was something about the Haiti. Remember the Haiti? There was drama in Haiti a few years ago.
Yeah.
They was down there, and there was a bunch of people. These groups from America was just grabbing a shitload, boatloads of kids all over. Do you know what I mean? Taking the kids there, and you always hear things like that when there's some kind of disaster, and they just grab the kids and you know they're trying to, in some guys, so hey, we're helping them, man. You know, help everybody, not just the kids, right?
Exactly, 100%. You know what all that was about.
So yeah. Anyway, you want anything else on that? Cause we're gonna just jump.
Yeah, no. Hopefully in time we'll get a decrease in numbers, and but yeah, doesn't look like it, chap. Sadly, isn't it?
It's one thing that we can come back to anyway again.
Yeah.
Johnny.
Same. Just mirroring what Artie does. Hopefully, you can smile. Thing it's like the numbers ain't so high as they are, but like I said, for now it's only going to get worse because of the money factor in it. But yeah, hopefully it can sort out and numbers come down. But yeah.
All right.
Fingers crossed, guys.
All right then. So we know what weekend it is, isn't it?
We know, man.
It's Carnival weekend.
The one.
And none of us are going. I don't think so. But still, we've been there, done that. How many times?
Oh yeah.
But you know, I'm sure Artie's gonna give us a little talk about the carnival, innit? History and everything. What we got there?
Yeah. Well, I've got a few bits about it. So a little tagline I put on it is obviously Nottingham Carnival. I put perception versus reality. It's been, I think the first carnival was in 1966. It's the second biggest carnival in the world, only second to Rio. On average, over the carnival weekend, there's anywhere between 1.2 and sometimes 2 million people. But sadly, all throughout the history of the carnival, sadly, it gets this negative kind of perception and always the critical response of stabbings and violence and stuff. You know what I mean, guys? Which I'm sure you've heard about time and time again. So I'm going to jump into like a few little bits and pieces because I feel it gets a raw deal. I know it gets a raw deal. And I think you guys will sort of, politely agree with me. Like I said,
we might not agree. Just ask us a question if you want to ask.
Yeah. Guys, what do you think about it? About sort of the carnival and this sort of negative kind of perception in the media in terms of drugs, violence, you know what I mean, and stuff like this?
Go on, Tita. You answer for on.
What do I think of the carnival?
And sort of the perception, you know, Tita, it's got through sort of negative media press of sort of drugs and violence, stabbings and fights, you know what I mean?
Carnival's a nice thing, you know. There's many sides of the carnival, you know. There's the music side of the carnival. Yeah, people just go out there for the music, and we don't see no stabbings, right? The stabbings are just for the little small number. Are they youth something there, innit? Are they youth thing there? And it's not really. It usually youths on youths, innit? Right? It doesn't really affect the party goers or the people that go to the floats and the costumes and all the food. The carnival is a big thing. No, I don't. You know, yeah, it's just another thing to try and demonize it, I think. What do you think, Johnny?
Nah, I second that as well, man. It's like I've been going from like a young you in it, so I just give it nothing but praise in it, and it's a lovely weekend. Nice, get me. It's nice to go down there, even though I'm not going down there this year. But it's just a nice little vibes. Something to get me, something to do. And you bring your kids on the Monday, and it's nice, isn't it? Sunday. But obviously now it's like, obviously you do, like you said, you do get the odd few incidents that happen, but that happens anywhere in life, innit? But like it's just the youths that minute, and just I don't know, man. With that side and the drug thing, I don't. Well, you probably get the few weed smokers and certain things like that, and other things as well. But the times I've been there, I've seen nothing but vibes in it. So I can't talk on the other side of it. But Yeah, it's more a youth thing, like the younger generation with the violence and the stabbing and all that thing there. But yeah, it's just the next thing for them to just lock off certain things and try and stop people enjoying themselves and certain things.
Oh,
So,
you know what, Johnny? I second that. I'm sure Teacher would agree that. I mean, throughout the decades, I mean, they had the riots in there in '76 when they basically put 10 times the amount of allocated police force that should be in there. And that was only just to do what it was, to cause trouble and sort of kind of disrupt the carnival. I mean, as you go back historically over West London and those sides there, the Met Police have been sort of notorious for their harassment of the black community over there and sort of consistently trying to close the carnival down. If you compare a couple of statistics from the carnival last year to Glastonbury last year, it's quite interesting. So for the carnival last year, guys, there was 209 arrests in total, and that was just under 2 million people over the carnival period. I think a total 36 were drug offences, some 33 for sort of offensive weapons, 5 for criminal damage, 29 for police assaults, and a few public orders and a few other little bits and pieces. Now, if you compare that to Glastonbury, which only has 200,000 revellers, so that's basically 1/10 of the people that go to Glastonbury that are in the carnival. They had 205 arrests. You know what I mean? And it's never ever portrayed in that same light. I mean, and they had Reading Festival, they had 37 arrests there, but there was only 100,000 people. So the carnival has like 20 times more people go there. You know what I mean? And they're, like you guys obviously pointed out, there's some little kids go there and do a few stupid things. And sadly, one guy got stabbed and murdered last year. But then I think it was in Reading Festival, some guy took some hallucinogenic drugs and died. Obviously, one was murdered and one died, so it wasn't portrayed in the same light. But the same amount of arrests are basically at Glastonbury and Reading. I think it's Leeds and well, and they have like 1/10 of the people that are running through. You know what I mean? For the Notting Hill Carnival, and it's just this sad perception that's put through the media and enforced by the police historically over time that this is an event that they're trying to close down. You know what I mean? And it's poor. And it's poor because, and also on another positive note, it brings nearly £100 million in revenue to the capital as well, which is never ever talked about. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why they're not going to stop it, because they love money, don't they? But
exactly,
they don't like us, do they? They don't.
Exactly.
They don't like They don't like us, and they don't like us having our little thing. But you know what? It'll always be there. Go on.
No, and hopefully it'll always be there. But it's like I said, it's always, you know what I mean. And you guys know, historically, there's the imbalance there in terms of reporting, isn't it? Like I said there, Glastonbury 200,000, Carnival nearly 2 million, and the arrests are near enough the same. You know what I mean? But you never hear a bad story about Glastonbury at all. And I'm not saying you want to promote bad stories, but it should be fair and balanced. And we know it's not going to be that way.
Hold on, right? There was no stabbing in Glastonbury, right?
No, there wasn't, to be fair. There was a person that died through taking some drug, I think drug overdose or something, teacher, you know what I mean? I think in another one, I think it was Reading, there was some tents set on fire and stuff. I mean, there was some antisocial behaviour there as well. But it wasn't reported to the extent. Yeah, obviously stabbing is serious. The guy died, sadly.
But that's just the demographics, right? London,
exactly.
The young people are doing that thing in London. If the Glastonbury was in London and the kids went to the Glastonbury, the same thing I think would happen. Go on.
No, I agree with you. You know what I mean, and it's the same thing. And it just feels like I'm so happy it's still going, because obviously post COVID, there was a lot of rumours and stuff. You always know they're looking to close it down anyway, but you think that would have given them a proper reason to try and push through some form of legislation or something to close it down. But thankfully they haven't anyway. But sadly, it's always had sort of the consistent over policing and negative, heavy-handed approach by the police as well, and that leads to issues which, as we know, have been there historically anyway. You know what I mean? And like I said, they don't like the fact that it is a black carnival. It's not a black carnival as such. It's a carnival that unites everyone now. but its roots are there in the, you know what I mean, in the black culture. And I think they hated that from the start, you know what I mean? And sadly, nearly 60 years down the line, there's still that element. But on a positive note, it is still going strong, guys.
And I know somebody, big up Bayesian Raw Liquor Shop in the place. Bayesian Raw Liquor Shop, they always make their carnival costumes and all that stuff.
Nice.
They do really good stuff. And
excellent.
And Winding Wire, they do a lot of good stuff and make this stuff. And also they got a lot, you know, a lot of food places as well. A lot of food places that jump in. Remember, Mr. T used to go down there.
Yeah,
100%. Was down there. There's Levi Roots, I think, used to go down there.
Yeah.
There's enough, man. There's enough things. It's a positive thing. And 100%. That's probably what they don't really want to see. But, you know,
it's bringing people together, isn't it? And it's actually uniting people, the positive music, you know, all the sound systems, the culture down there. It's bringing people into it. Like I said, the food, everything else, the music. And I think there is also...
Yeah, how could you not go carnival? Because like every street corner, they got a different sound system. You got reggae, you got dub, you got drum and bass, you got jungle, you got every type of music, garage, you got everything on every corner there. It's like for a stranger to just come out of nowhere where they're coming from and to go to the carnival, they'd think they were in heaven or something. Do you know what I mean? Musical heaven with food and drinks and good faces and good peoples. It's always a vibe in West London, no?
A great vibe. And it's funny because I was saying, she remember, teacher, yesterday about my my team leader at work, and she was saying, oh, carnival stabbings. I said, have you ever been there? And she said, no. So I said, how do you know? Oh, I learned from the, you know, I mean, I heard in the media and the news. So I said, that's out of how many? 2 million people. Yeah, I said, it is very unfortunate, but 95% of the revelers, they're having a great time and everybody's united, like you said, hearing all the music, the food, the culture, but yet they get this perception in their head, sadly, some of these people, but it's their loss anyway, to cut the long story short, you know what I mean? It's their loss. Because if you haven't been, you need to get down there, you know what I mean?
At least once in your lifetime.
Yeah,
and don't just take what people say. Go and see it for yourself, and then once you see it, make the judgment on that, yeah?
Exactly. But yeah, it's a great thing, and hopefully, long may it continue for a bit more. But it was just interesting. I've always had a look at it and kind of looked at how it's always been negatively, you know, kind of representative, kind of within the British media and other institutions. Whereas other major festivals, they've had issues in the past, and arguably, sadly, it's because those kind of festivals were generally seen as white festivals. Although I'm sure within Glastonbury, Reading, and Leeds, many people from many different cultures go to those as well, you know what I mean?
But yeah, it's probably a majority that are Caucasians, right? Because it's that type of music, innit?
Yes.
It's not like you're gonna go. I know Stormzy goes up there now, innit?
I think Glastonbury's changed a bit now because they've got a lot of varied world music now, whereas I think when that birthed out, it was more along the rock lines, you know what I mean? Kind of rock and hippie-ish lines, where it seemed to be quite a bit more diverse now, and they've got a lot more world music down there. Not that I've been there at all, I haven't been there at all, but that's what I'm hearing. But no, and that's probably why the representation is like that, isn't it? If we're honest with ourselves, sadly.
Anything to add to that, Johnny?
No, nothing, you know.
All right. Any more, sir? Any more for anyone?
No, I mean, that was it. That was just what I was thinking about, the whole thing, just sort of kind of the roundup of it and the whole negative press and sort of the sadness of the general fight by a small core element of people to get it closed down over time. And they haven't succeeded yet, and hopefully they won't, you know what I mean? Because it's a great institution and it's part of our own culture that's been here for ages now, and long may it continue. So, no, I haven't reached this year. Maybe next year I'll go down there with the kids.
So, the old football. Anything about football?
Yeah, go on then.
Go on, Johnny.
Wow, this Mikel Arteta, bruv, he's an idiot, man. He's done exactly what we were laughing. Remember, Artie, when man said about if he plays the wrong formation, and And the idiot went and done the same thing 3 games in a row. Wrong formation and leaving certain players out. He sent Tierney on loan to Real Sociedad. The man's an idiot. The idiot. He's a fool.
Yeah, no, it's not. He's changing about too much, isn't he? Sadly, I can second that with the manager that we have now as well. He's doing a bit of tinkering as well now. So, these men them like to change things too much. You know what I mean? From a team that was doing so well, you're messing it up. You know what I mean?
Bro, it's that saying, isn't it? If it ain't broke, why try and fix it, man?
Yeah, exactly. Playing people out of positions and stuff. Sadly, so even when you was 2-1 up, I thought you had the game won, and then they come back with the late equaliser.
The only thing we needed shoring up in last season was the midfield, yeah. But he's not even playing the midfielder, the 2 midfielders that need to play in their right positions. He's just, look, I don't know, man. He's changed around the team to fit one man in, that Havertz guy, and it's like, he's a madman still, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Next week, if he plays that formation next week, Sunday, Man United are going to wipe the floor with us.
And he still hasn't scored, has he, Havertz?
He hasn't assisted.
He hasn't assisted. So that's 3 games, no assists, no goals.
That's what 65 million buys you these days, isn't it?
And ain't he the top earner now as well, isn't he?
Yeah, 270 grand a week.
That's crazy. He's loving life, mate, this geezer. He scored 1 goal in his kit of Chelsea and 2 dead seasons, and now he's come to Arsenal. And I mean, you never know. He might get better, but the fact is, he shouldn't even be starting. He shouldn't even be starting, man. He should be on the bench, bruv.
And the person that's missing out is Gabriel.
Yeah, like you're shuffling people along the defensive line to accommodate this guy who, like Teacher said, is not really offering anything at the moment. Needs to offer something soon, mate.
They're saying some rumour about the reason he's leaving out Gabriel is because Gabriel could be leaving, innit, and they don't want him to get injured, so he could be going to Saudi, innit? So.
Okay.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think this is the new thing with some of these coaches now, John. They like to tinker around with things, and you know, if they've got a personal player they like, they want to get him in the team at all costs. And by putting someone in the team, you're moving 2 or 3 other players all around the place, you know. But yeah, he's not the first to do it. But I think he might fall on his sword very shortly, because
he is.
It's a competitive league, mate. Trust me, you guys know that.
Well, they said last season was it was a crazy season last season, and obviously you had the World Cup in the middle of the season, and it was just that wasn't our true position where we finished, but I took the 2nd place. But this season, it's not happening again. I can see it already. This man's he's just doing bare foolishness. You spend 210 million and you're playing worse football than last season. How does that make sense?
God knows, isn't it? Yeah, it's shocking, mate. But yeah, like you said, I was trying to teach the other day, and I think he's on borrowed time anyway. So, a couple more bad results is going to be a bag of pressure on him soon. You know what I mean? But then he might have the backing from the board at the moment, isn't it? That's the thing. They've spent heavily.
I'd like to say that more so from the fans. The board are happy with what he's doing, innit? He's brought the wage bill down. He's got the bad eggs out, what he said were bad eggs. So the board's happy with him as long as he qualifies in the top 4, top 5 for Champions League this season. If he gets top 4, top 5, they'll keep him in it because there's got that revenue in it. He's going to do what Wenger was doing every season: Champions League, Champions League, Champions League. They get their revenue, but if the fans start voicing and start protesting and them thing there, get him out of there, man. Kick him out.
Well, that's it. You have to wait and see. And it's early days still in the season, but like you said, you guys got a big game next week, didn't you? So obviously watch that space for that one. and see if you can pick something up there. Who's impressed me so far this year, boy? I think Moisey's lot ain't doing too bad, are they? I was politely surprised by them beating Brighton 3-1, mate.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit of a coupon buster, mate. You know what I mean? On that one, for all you guys that do the accumulators. You know what I mean? They've just beaten... Who they're beating there? Chelsea and Brighton back to back. They're doing all right. I don't know if they're...
Yeah. But this is the weird thing about it. Look, Spurs got their midfielder in, James Maddison. He's doing the thing for them. West Ham got in Ward-Prowse. It's like certain teams have got their... Yeah, I mean, you build your team around your midfield, innit? And it's like, once you got that guy, this was supposed to be us with Declan Rice, but the guy's not playing Declan Rice and Partey in the pivot. He's playing... You already know what he's doing. He's messing up the whole thing, man. So, yeah, Spurs, it'll be interesting to see what they... Because I think I'm finally seeing what you were talking about with your old manager still.
Yeah, he's a good coach, man.
He's starting to put his imprint on the Spurs team, innit? You can see their football's more flowing now and is not stagnated anymore. So I'm starting to see what he's looking to bring to them, man. So Spurs, even though I hate them, but...
Of course. It'd
be good to see what he can do for the team, innit? Obviously, I don't think they'll win anything, but...
Nah, but he's got a big turnaround with them, innit?
The style of football, I haven't seen that style of football from Spurs since... I don't know what manager, but yeah, I haven't seen that for years. But yeah, man, they're looking good.
No, he's a good coach, man. And that's just not through... Obviously, he was my own coach bias, but we already see what's happening. He's left, and then Brendan's come in now, and he's another man now. He's trying to change formation. You don't need to change the formation that's been dominant for 2 years.
Exactly.
That's what he's doing now. He's trying to do that. Obviously, we've got a lot of injuries as well, but he's just playing the sideways football, mate. The sideways football don't work, mate. You've got to penetrate it. Not side to side all the time. And some man in it, I don't know, like you said, you come into a team like you guys had a great year last year, just go with the same, improve the squad, and same thing for us. We lost a couple of players, got a few injuries, but keep the same sort of tactics, keep pressing high. Now we win the ball early and just move quickly, but with Brendan, he likes to play too much, bro. He's elaborating with things, so he might be out the door sharpish if he gets smashed by Rangers next week. So,
next week?
Yeah, and I really don't fancy us. I would never bet against my team, but if I was a gambling man, I'd have me money on Rangers for next week, definitely. And that's not because we've got too many injuries at the back and we're not playing well. Even though we got 7 points, but it's not 7 convincing points, you know what I mean? Not one of them wins was convincing, so I'm very sceptical, mate, you know what I'm saying? But we'll see anyway, because if he loses next week, you know, the knives will be out already. Maybe not quite sharpened, but they'll be taking them out of the block, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's been a good Premier League. A few good teams are sort of picking up this year, innit? You've got a few teams sort of... do you guys see what was the one earlier on? The Nunes come and stole it off Newcastle.
Yeah, he came through still, man.
He stole it off them, innit? Still, last couple of minutes, innit? They threw that one away in Newcastle.
Why the man never started? Why he never started with Nunes up front?
Innit? That's an interesting one, man. Hey guys, did any of you guys see the boxing last night?
I listened to it on the radio still.
Yeah, I was streaming to be honest with you. I was streaming a bit still, man. It was all right. It was just like he totally dominated the fight, innit? Usyk, but there's the body punch in it, mate. What did you think? Did you see it properly?
I still haven't seen it. Teacher, did you see it? You seen it, innit?
Yeah, it was on the line, I thought.
It was right on the line, mate. Right on the line. It's borderline, but it's a mad one. It's not like you look in and you say, "Nah, that's low." So it's a mad one, innit? But there's all memes going about Usyk now, innit? With his shorts pulled up to his ears and that, innit?
So do you think my man should have won then?
Well, it's either one or the two. If it's a bad low blow like that if he's saying like, then he sort of got to deduct him a point. But he done The referee done
He
neither
didn't.
or nothing.
He didn't deduct him though, did he?
That's what I'm saying. So he didn't do nothing, but he didn't award it a knockdown either. He just called it a low blow. But the funny thing is, when he was giving the guys the particulars at the start of the fight, he wasn't sort of consistent in where he was saying. Most sort of fighters will say, "All right, here's good, here's good." You know what I mean? He didn't really spell out to the guys about the body shot. But to be fair, it's a tough one, mate. To me, he should give him a rematch. I think he'll beat him in the rematch because he's much more skillful. But that was a good shot, and he doesn't like to get hit to the body. As much as he's sort of a good fighter, he has been proven a bit. Even when Joshua catch him a few times, one time in the second fight, I think, anyway, hit him with a few belly shots that troubled him, you know what I mean? So he don't like them shots there. So maybe he should give him a little rematch, innit? And be kind to him, you know what I mean? Even though, like I said, he'll do him again probably, but... We've got a thingy next week, boys. Got the Eubank and Smith Part 2, innit?
What, Saturday, yeah?
Yeah, next Saturday. You know what I mean? Have a look at that one, chaps. You know what I mean? Yeah, anything else been happening? I've been watching a bit of the athletics. Anyone catch any of that, teacher? Anyone see the sprints and that? Been pretty good.
Yeah, I think Americans did clean up still, man.
Americans, yeah, my girl, innit?
Women. I saw some lovely women there. I'll just say what you guys are thinking, yeah?
Yeah, you know. But, yeah, I think America done well. I think, what's the girl who, her name, why do I always forget her name? The 200-metre lady teacher. She ran, the second fastest ever?
Sharika Jackson.
Yeah, that was very fast, mate. That was her against herself, mate.
No, Sha'Carri. Yeah. I think Sha'Carri came second, didn't she?
Yes, she got the second. Thingy one, innit? Yeah. She dominated it, innit? By she was like meters ahead of them. And then who won the men's? That guy, innit? Noah Lyles.
Lyles.
He got the 100 and the 200, innit? He doubled up, innit?
And the relay as well, innit?
Yeah, he got his 3 golds, mate. He's laughing, innit? Got nice 3 golds there. Few medal for the British guys, innit? The one guy, I think he won. What did he win? 1500. They won. I think Britain got a gold in the 15.
I think they only got golds, innit?
Yeah, who got the other one? I'm trying to think. Got the other one.
That KJT girl in the
Oh yeah, and the girl got silver in it. She always gets silver in the 800. She got silver again. She's got about 7 silvers, mate. She can never beat that girl. Who keeps beating her. Must be frustrating. It must kind of feel like Bolt and Gatlin, mate.
Huh.
Isn't it? Just always beat him every time.
And they had the thing, I didn't even watch it. The Formula 1 was on today as well. I didn't even watch that shit, man.
Yeah, I didn't catch it. Probably the same guy winner. Has he still won every race, John, or is it changed?
He's equaled the record, 9 straight wins now he's had in a season, so he's equaled the record. So next week, if he wins again, he'll get 10 and he'll break the record. Yeah, Red Bull have won all of the races this season. So
Jesus.
Yeah, every single race they've won is like that. I think he's won obviously 10 or 11. Perez has won 2 races. It's dumb,
isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit of a formality, that one, isn't it, chaps? But yeah, I don't see anything else has been going on in the sporting world. Anything? I'm trying to think of any other combat sports. No, nothing much else going on really. You got the Champions League playoffs, and that's it. And the draw's coming up Thursday, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get in the Champions League?
I think we're due to get a tough team still. Cause we're in pot 3 or something. So we're
Are you free?
Well, yeah, we're due to get like a Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, somebody
like that. Becky Lou thinks he's a joker, doesn't she? Said the women are so inspiring. She's taking up the couch to 5K in her pants. Go on, Becky. The sense of humor always works.
Yeah,
always
bigger
works.
up, man.
So what more?
Yeah.
That's 1 hour 25 minutes, guys. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I'm
long.
ready,
That
man.
was long enough. That was long enough. That's movie time. That's Becky. Watch that film. What was it called again? Freedom of something. Shit, can't remember the film. Freedom of something. Just Google it. It's Mel Gibson's new movie came out earlier this year. Freedom of something. It's about the child trafficking. Have a look at that. We can revisit a little bit next week as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a nice one to have a look at.
Blessings, guys. I liked it. I like the earlier part with you guys were going at it head to head. I did like the head to head still. You know.
No worries, all love, guys. Come on, man.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, big up Becky Lou every time.
Big up
always.
Becky as well, man.
Big up.
And thank you guys. And oh yeah, we're gonna try and put this interview together. If I've set it up for Wednesday, we can put this interview. We got this I interviewed somebody about this bad contaminated blood thing, and hopefully I can set it up and put it up for Wednesday. So that'll be something, innit?
That'll be nice. Yeah,
something
good to hear.
Yeah,
good to hear.
Have a nice one, guys. Enjoy the weekend. Tomorrow, bank holiday. Carnival, don't drink too much, yeah? Or drink too much.
No, not too much.
Or drink too much. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just enjoy.
Enjoy the weekend, guys.
Keep the forks in the food and knives at home, yeah?
Yeah, that's the spirit, man. That's the spirit.
All right. Blessings.
Blessings, guys.